Welcome to my channel. My name is Kaz and I'm an intuitive and a healer. In today's video we're going to ask the question what our loved ones in spirit want us to know. So this can be family members that have passed over, friends, acquaintances, it can be pets, it can be our spirit team, so our guardian angels, it can be our ancestors. So we're open to all. I have 3 stones to choose from. You can cast your eyes over the stones and go with the one that you feel resonates with you the most. We have a rose quartz heart, we have citrine, and we have green calcite. The timestamps will be in the description, and I will see you at your reading. Welcome group 1 to your reading. I'm just going to hold the stone, the beautiful rose quartz heart, so that I can just tune into the energy here. Okay, for most of you in this group, I'm getting a dog. So I'm seeing either a black and white dog or sort of almost a multicolored dog that's kind of brown with bits of white and bits of grey. Like a brindle, I think it's called. It can be like a brindle type dog. So there's a lot of dog energy here. I'm also seeing a little, what are they called? Silky terrier. I'm seeing a Dalmatian. Are there any other dog types? I'm seeing a border collie. So, it could be mixed messages for a lot of people here, but this is the dog group. So there's a strong association with dogs here. I'm getting like either a spoodle or a labradoodle. So the poodle hybrids are coming through as well, black ones and brown ones. So I think if you've had a dog or dogs that have crossed over, this is the pile for you. So for some of you, you've recently lost a dog, and I'm very sorry for your loss, but do know that they're in spirit with you. They haven't gone far. They've just transitioned. And I actually saw this when a friend's dog passed over recently. It's like this burst of energy. And as soon as they've, had their last breath, it's just like this white light explosion, and suddenly they're on the other side. So I guess that's how dogs experience crossing over. And that's come through again today, so that's quite interesting. So it's suddenly like they're free. And they do have, what I'm sensing, for some of them revert back to the puppy type energy where everything's exciting and, what a wondrous world, and they're looking around and having a good sniff. Sorry, that was just my keys in the door just started swinging, which was interesting. So we're getting some positive signs here that perhaps the dogs are around us. So what they want you to know basically is that they had a good life. They were really happy with you, even if they spent a very short time with you. It might have been that you've rescued a dog from someone or somewhere and you couldn't quite get it back to the place it needed to be healthy enough to continue on. But that's okay because they still appreciated the help. For some of you in this group, I'm getting that you're either vet or vet nurses or work with rescuing animals. And what spirit, and I'm getting a bigger spirit coming through here. This is St. Francis. Oh, isn't that lovely? St. Francis is saying that your help with all animals is appreciated. So it might be that you're a person who also just loves animals in general, not just dogs, and has a close association with all animals. So thank you for your service and for the care that you put in. Now what St. Francis is telling me is that every time an animal that is close to us crosses over, they stay with us for the life that we're living here. So they do kind of have their soul life on the other side, but they also, part of them remains with us. And it might be that you're in your house and you catch a glimpse out of the side of your eye and you think, oh, I thought that was my dog or my cat or whatever's crossed over, and it'll actually be their spirit that you're sensing. That they're just on a slightly different plane that's invisible to most people. Some people can see them very clearly. But yeah, the essence of the animal stays with you until you cross, because their soul is strongly linked to yours. Now, parts of their soul, because we're multifaceted as souls, might go off and do other things, but a good essence of it stays with you. Some souls choose just to solely stay with the human they were connected to in life. Some animal souls choose to do other things at the same time. So they just wanted to clarify that. So St. Francis says in this group, there are people who really appreciate that animals are important in life and they're not just beasts for humans to use and abuse, if you like. There's a lot more souls like you coming to Earth, so animal cruelty will eventually be snuffed out, but we've still got a long way to go as humans to appreciate that every single being has a soul. And often, even we've got insects in our house, St. Francis urges us to remove them from the house if you don't want them in the house, but in a kind way. Because what happens if we end up killing them is that can sometimes, it's not the same in all cases, because I'm getting shaking of the head as this message is coming through, that sometimes it can add to our karma. And he's saying that a special group of people do really even look after insects, and that's greatly appreciated too, because everything has a journey on Earth and everything has lessons to learn and experiences to be had. So if you're one of those people that really looks after all beings on the planet, you're greatly appreciated. Some of you have just gotten a new pet. It may be a dog, and the dog is very aware of previous animals that have been in your space that are in spirit now. So the dog might be looking at something that isn't there, if you like, but what they're doing is they're tuning into the energy of either the previous dog or a dog that they knew, or another animal. In fact, it could be anything. We know that cats are really good at this, but dogs are starting to be better at this. So they're starting to become more attuned in their evolution as a canine to pick up spirits. Now, some dogs have naturally been good at this. It's a bit like humans and people who have natural psychic gifts, but it's like it's coming to more and more dogs as they come through. And it may even be that in the future, dogs are used to help sniff out spirits. So perhaps if there's a spirit that's stuck between worlds and is scaring people, you know, when you see those paranormal hunters or paranormal ghost hunters, something like that they might be part of those teams to help sniff things out because their sensitivities are becoming greater. Now, St. Francis is telling me that and he's got a few other beings with him of the higher order. It might even be Saint Germain and maybe Katumi. That this is because there are quite a few souls stuck between planes here on Earth and ushering into the new world. as we are ushered into the new world, these spirits need to be released and brought back to where they originate from, because they're kind of stuck. And it might just be the energy of someone who has literally crossed over, but some trauma of theirs is stuck. So dogs are going to be helpful in sniffing these either lost spirits or energy loops out so that they can be removed. They don't want to talk about cats because, as we know, cats are naturally quite psychic. They want to talk about birds. So if you have had a bird that's crossed over, I'm seeing very much one of those really colourful parrots that have the long red tail feathers and some green and maybe blue on them with a big curved beak. I forget what they're called, apologies. I'm seeing one of those in particular, quite talkative. But birds are really important to the evolution of mankind as well as the animal kingdom. And if you see birds, they are often messengers. So they're not just talking about pets here, they're talking about animals out in the wild. So pay attention to birds that come in as you're doing anything outside, or even if a bird's looking through a window at you, because there's some sort of message from spirit that's been given to you. You may not necessarily know what it is, but you can just ask. You might not get the answer straight away, but you will eventually get an answer. This is turning into quite a spiritual lesson for us all in group one. Let's see what else they've got to say. Some of you may be getting a new puppy in the next 3 to 6 months. It may be something you're considered, or you may have already purchased a dog from breeder and just waiting for it to be weaned from mum. When we're talking about breeders as well, what Spirit is asking us to do is to ensure that you are purchasing from people with high integrity when you're buying animals, because some people are misusing animals in that way. I'm seeing greyhounds in particular here. Now, interesting enough, there's been a little white rabbit hopping around the neighbourhood here, and he was under my car the other day, and I'm seeing rabbits now. So rabbits are very affectionate. My friend's got a rabbit and it's just beautiful. So you may be considering getting a rabbit or rescuing a rabbit. They're quite playful. What else do we have for group one? I've still got the 3 beings here with me. So I've got St. Francis, I've got Katumi, and I've got Saint Germain. And they're part of the higher order that are overseeing the animal kingdom this time. They're showing me, I'm looking at an orangutan actually, but what I'm getting is that because we are destroying natural habitats, some species are becoming extinct. However, in the future, they may be able to create new habitats for them and then bring them back into being from DNA via cloning. And that may be the way to repopulate some lost animals. And yeah, I'm strongly getting orangutans and chimpanzees with this. So the final message with this is take care of your animals because they take care of you. You may not realise that that's what they're doing, but a lot of them are holding energy for you to go through your life, and they're essentially your companions. If you think about the stories about witches, you know, they have their familiars that raise their vibration so that they can do their spells or that they can cast their spells. It's the same thing for having animals in your life and how they work in your own life, is that they hold energy for you. And as you put nurturing energy into them, you receive it back 10 times more than what you're giving it, because there's such a loving bond there that it's just beautiful. That's all there is for this group. So that turned into a much bigger story than I was expecting there. So thank you for looking after your animals and your pets. Know that any that have crossed over are very much with you all the time. Even if it's goldfish, I'm now seeing goldfish, and that they love you dearly. Thanks for viewing me today. I'll see you in the next video. Group 2, welcome to your reading. So I'm just going to pick up the crystal that you chose to tune into the energy here. Oh, I'm getting a big thanks from Spirit. So you have chosen to do something quite difficult this lifetime, and immediately they're thanking you. So I'm getting that this is your angel team here, but I'm also seeing groups of families. So maybe there's been more than one person in your family that has crossed over. It doesn't have to be your immediate family. It might be aunties or uncles or cousins. But family connections. It may be grandparents too. Yeah, they're really appreciative of you. So some of you may have actually been with people as they have crossed, and they're really grateful to you for holding that energy for them and for providing support, love and support towards them, but also to other members of the family. It may be that you were the one that did it all, or you held up other members of the family so they could go through that, because they're telling me that you're quite a strong person. You may not always think you are, but you do have a lot of fortitude and you do have a lot of insight into things in life, whereas others may not cope quite as well as you do. So they really want to thank you for that. I'm seeing a wedding. So if there are any family special occasions coming up, they will definitely be there. So if it's a wedding, they'll be at the wedding. And our loved ones do appear at special occasions. I mean, they can come anytime you need them, basically. But they spontaneously appear at important moments in your life. So particularly when it's linked to family, you're getting really strong family associations here. So whenever there's a birth in the family, or even if someone else is crossing over, they will be there and they will greet them when they cross over to the other side. So they really do support us without us always being aware of it. They're saying that one of the biggest challenges in losing someone when we're in human form is grief. And they want us to know that grief is a valid emotion, but they don't want you to be swallowed up by grief, because really it's just a change of existence. So they're not here in body, but they're here in spirit, and they want you to know that. And they're constantly sending you love and support in a form that's not physical, so it's energetic. As you become more psychically gifted, or your gifts open up, you will start to feel that or get glimpses of them. They also do leave you signs. So for some of you, I'm seeing coins. For some of you, I'm seeing feathers. I'm seeing lights flashing on and off. I'm seeing sometimes interference with electricity, like bulbs going, or even electrical problems in the house. And that may be your loved ones. It's just the frequency that they're coming in at is disturbing the electricity. Now, for some of you, or might even just be one of you, if this is happening, you do need to get your electrical system checked. And that's coming for one person in particular. Well, that's not coming for all of you, but just for, you'll know if it's you. You'll get a feeling about it, or you might have already had a feeling about getting it checked. But for others, the electrical interference is just them at a certain frequency. So best to get it checked. And then if they can't find anything, you know that it's just your loved ones. As they get used to coming in, that sort of thing settles down, because they try not to interfere with your lives too much, because that disrupts your journey. But also they get more skilled at being present without disturbing things too greatly. I feel a real calm energy around this. And with group 1, what I saw was when it was particularly a dog crosses over, there's like an explosion of white light. And I'm seeing this on a greater scale when a human crosses over. So it's almost like the soul was bursting out of the confines of the body. And it's like very much a euphoric, but at the same time peaceful feeling. And I'm being shown that that's what your loved ones have experienced when they've crossed over. Get a strong sense of grandparents for some of you, and you may not have ever met these grandparents, but they are assisting you in life this time round, and it may have been that you've assisted them previously in other lives. I'm seeing a coal miner, a train driver, working with coal. Strong associations with coal here, so that might really resonate with some of you. Miners, so a lot of stuff to do with digging in the earth, essentially. I'm hearing the word arrest as well, so maybe someone was unfairly arrested shortly before they crossed over, or someone might have passed with a cardiac arrest. And I'm seeing different features of people, like I'm seeing a lot of different faces here. So there may have been a lot of you that have lost people recently, and for that, I'm sorry for your loss. But they want to comfort you. It's like they are comforting you. Because they know they haven't lost you. They've just gone up in the boom of white light. And they're smiling about this. I feel that some of them were very grounded in the material world and had no inkling that there was anything other than earth and earthly life when they were in human form. Of course, their soul knows otherwise. But it was quite a surprise. I won't say shock, because it doesn't feel like a shock. It feels like surprise. Then suddenly they're somewhere else. It's like, oh, that's right. This is what life's like. But in life, they would never have had... they always thought that anything other than life on this planet was a fantasy. They never believed in it. So it's like they've done a complete turnaround there, because that was what they were meant to experience. And one of them is saying, and this is a male that I'm getting, and I'm seeing him wearing like a three-piece suit, in fact, like a professional three-piece suit. One of them is saying that this man in the three-piece suit, and it's like a navy three-piece suit, is saying next time he's going to choose differently, and he wants to have gifts that help him to connect with other things apart from the material side of life. He was either a banker or a lawyer in this lifetime. And he was very, very focused on the material. Very grounded realist. Getting a lady in what I want to describe as a frou-frou dress, like layers of organza or with ruffles on the bottom. So it might be like a 1930s dress. It's kind of pink in colour with maybe a rosette or a frill around the neck. and she's got dancing shoes on, so she either loved to dance or was a dancer. She's coming through quite strongly, and she's got white hair, so she might have been quite elderly when she passed. But she's showing me her beautiful dress. She loved this dress. She's got a message for someone in particular, and I'm getting the name Rebecca. So if your name is Rebecca and you recognise this, she's saying that she loves you dearly and she didn't mean to go the way she went. For the rest of you, I'm just seeing a whole crowd of people that are just, it's like they're showing me, you know, when the cartoon hearts pop out of the chest and they pump when a cartoon character is in love. They're showing me a picture with all of them with their hearts sort of pumping in and out of their chests like a cartoon to show how much love they have for you all. And now they're sending out a whole load of white doves for peace. And it's just so beautiful. Oh, there's so much heat around this. There's also a doctor stepping forward. He's got a stethoscope around his neck. And he didn't expect to go the way that he went. I think he was looking after people when he went. And yeah, it was very unexpected. I'm trying not to do too many personal things here because I know it won't resonate for all of you. So I'm just going to ask Spirit to give me more general messages from our loved ones here. Oh, so now someone called Pete is stepping forward. Oh, he's going to be the spokesman for this group of people that I'm seeing. Okay, Pete. Let's see what you've got. He's saying some of you need to get your ducks in a row with something. And, he's got about, 15 spirits with him. So this goes for about, some of you watching. He's saying that you need to get your ducks in a row with something because something is going to come along to challenge you in some way. And what you just need to be able to do is to prove, it's like someone's coming forward and accusing you of something. Now, this may not be anything huge, but it's like you just need to give evidence in some way. So it might be that maybe you witnessed something and you need to give evidence. So they're just saying, what Peter's saying is to ensure that you have everything and set it all out in front of you, maybe put it on pieces of paper and have a good look at it all. So some of you might even be like signing contracts or something, and Pete wants you to really take note of it and get he's showing me a highlighter, highlight things and really know it inside out. For some of you, maybe not for too many, there might be something where there's an accusation made, but you've got proof that this accusation is untrue. But you need to get that tangible evidence, if you like. Wow, I'm really heating up here. There's so much heat around this. Okay, is there anything else? Anything in particular as a general message that loved ones would like to give? Oh, they're thankful for you. They recognise what a hard journey it is on this planet sometimes, and what their biggest advice is stop to smell the roses. So take time to appreciate things around you, because we often miss the beauty in life because we're so busy living our lives. And they want you to really take a step back from the busyness that's going on around you and take stock and just look at the important things, the things that are really important to you, and to let go of some of the other things that aren't so important. Okay, that's all your loved ones have for you in this group. Thanks for being here today, and I will see you in my next video. Group 3, welcome to your reading. I'm just going to pick up your stone here and just tune into it. Okay, I'm getting some specific people here. So I'm actually seeing a rock star, some sort of rock star. He's a guitarist, and very much a performer, and he has passed, he's crossed over. He's got a lot to say. He's almost quite shouty when he's speaking. And this might not pertain to too many of you. This is getting very specific here very quickly. I'm just trying to... Oh, I see what this is getting at. Okay. So some of you may not have lost people that you know, but it may be that you've lost maybe someone that you really admired. So it may be that someone who, you know, is a specialist in a career that you have, or someone who invented something, or someone that, like, is a rock star or a movie star. So it may not be that you physically knew them or had some sort of relationship with them. It was more of a relationship of admiration. So this is for some of you in the group. They want me to stay here because I was going to then talk about the other part. But I'm just trying to sort out this energy, so just bear with me a minute. Okay. So what they are saying with this is, it is sad to lose an idol. And that person, the impact that they had on your life may have been great. For some reason I'm saying Bruce Springsteen, but I know he's not passed. Yeah, they're saying it's good to have an idol, and even if you don't know someone, there will be qualities in them that you admire. And once you admire these qualities, the lesson here is you actually have these qualities in yourself. So just say that I'm using the example of the rock star here. Maybe they were a really, really good musician and they could really great at writing their own songs or composing music or something like that. And what they're saying here is these may be latent gifts that you either haven't developed that far in this life or you're not quite aware of yet. It may be that you have an urge to play an instrument, but you've never picked up that instrument. So there are qualities there that can be admired. On the other hand, what they're saying is you need to recognise that you don't actually know these people and you're just admiring qualities about them. So just be really careful, because sometimes, and I'm not talking about this specific rock star, whoever it is and whoever resonates with this, but just as a general, there's a little warning here that they're saying that you never know the whole person of who you have an admiration for. You're not in their heads, you don't really know them, particularly if you're admiring from afar. So what they're saying is that sometimes when you get attached to people and they've got some very dark qualities, it's like you pick up the dark qualities as well as the light. So just be aware of that, is what they're saying. So just say that you really admire someone, like I said earlier, it's the rock star, they've got great musical abilities. Rather than saying, I love this person, and using their name, like, you know, John Smith, because he's an amazing musician, maybe you can say, I really admire that person's musical abilities. Maybe just say, I admire musical abilities like that. And you may be attracted to this because either, especially if this is a skill that you're admiring as someone that you don't have yourself, it may also be that you've had it in a past life or you're going to develop it in a future life. And I know that time is not linear, but that's just the way that I'm using to talk about other lives. So you may have already had, you may have been an amazing guitarist in a different life, or in another life you are going to develop amazing guitarist abilities. I'm sorry if this reading is going a little bit round in circles, but that's the way the energy is coming through to me. It's about losing someone who you greatly admired without really knowing the person that it was. I'm hearing something about anti-heroes here. So there's a whole theme on role models here that Spirit are wanting to talk about, and who we idolise in human form. And the same message is coming through about admire the qualities, not so much the person, because there's a lot that's hidden from us, and there will also be in the future a lot made clearer to us. Music industry or the film industry, you know, we already hear stories of how people were treated in the 30s and 40s as film stars, and I think a lot more in the future is going to come out. So again, we're going back to the message of admire a person's qualities, not so much the person unless you know them really, really well. Because you're lending energy to something maybe you don't want to lend energy to. Yeah, this is a very strange reading. What else have I got here? Okay, I'm getting that we may, and this is not so much a personal reading for you, and I think it's because it's about people that we do idolise. We may lose more rock and roll stars this year in 2024, and people that perhaps have, I'm just seeing guitarists, I'm seeing a lot of guitarists here, people that have been around for quite some time, you know, legendary type people. I keep going back to this guitarist, so I'm really sorry. There must be a message there that I'm just not getting, or it's for someone in particular in this group. Now, if this group isn't resonating for you, go to some of the other groups, but I'm just stuck on this guitarist here. There may be a particular riff that you really, really love, and this person's very well known for it. But they just keep showing me like a guitarist, you know, when they put their hands up after they finish a chord, or they're about to throw their hands down to start strumming. Definitely rock and roll, or, you know, definitely rock, if you like, because it's an electric guitar. I don't know who the patron saint of rock musicians is. Oh, there's showing me Vivaldi. Oh, I'm getting Vivaldi, so that's quite interesting. It may not be the patron saint, but he does work closely with them. So some of you may be aspiring guitarists on a more than amateur level. And what Vivaldi is saying, because he does work closely with people in that arena, is so much creativity has been lost because of the whole rock and roll thing, you know, the essential sex, drugs and rock and roll type thing. And what they're saying is, if you do find yourself climbing and being successful, try to resist some of the temptations that come your way, because they very much stifle creativity in the musical field. And it's almost like there's an energy behind the music industry, and this may have happened very much in the past. I'm looking like 70s, 80s, and not so much now, but previously the energy was almost like there was an attempt to stifle creativity, positive creativity. So you know how songs basically sing to you? Like, you might hear a song and you just love it. It may have been tainted with a certain frequency of energy that perhaps isn't hugely positive. I apologise for this, because I feel like this is a very garbled message. So I'm just going back again to, if you're an aspiring guitarist and you've got talent and you're getting more popular, just to avoid the pitfalls that are basically substances, so illicit substances or high volumes of alcohol, because it really does stifle your creativity. And it's almost like a real temptation for people, because the stuff is thrown at them, or they're really encouraged to imbibe at times, and there is an agenda behind that. It's not just, hey, let's just go and have a good time and have a bit of a party. It's more, we don't want you to be as creative as your highest potential is. So just bear that in mind if you're aspiring to anything in life and there's people on the path tempting you, because I feel like there's a bit of a sticky energy associated with this. It's almost like there's songs or a message coming through or trying to come through that some energies are trying to block. And I don't like to get into these types of readings, but I apologise, this is just what's coming through. Because there is something else at play here. So just be aware of that. And that goes for any of you out there, that if there's any creative path that someone is trying to deter you from, use your determination and reach your highest potential in creativity, because it's what the world needs now. And it's like there are some aspiring musicians out there who are going to have very, very powerful messages for the world and help raise the frequency on the planet in the next 10 years. Yeah, what I'm getting is that almost amongst a sense of chaos comes this pure, either like a genre or a sound or a movement, if you like, and it's got such a high frequency and vibration, and it's been trying to come through for some time, but it will eventually come through, and it's almost like it settles things down. So then it's like there's chaos all around it, and then it comes through and like just things calm down, and there's just calm. Yeah, interesting. Let me know how you went with this one, Group 3, because it was quite a surprise to me, the messages that came through. If it really does not resonate in any way, please go and look at the other two groups, because there may be a message there for you. That's all I had for you today. I will see you next time.